This is episode 83 of the Wilderness Locals podcast. On this episode, our guest is Alex Nestor from HuntEco. Full disclosure here. Justin, I think, was like 4 whiskeys deep because we started recording this super late, and I was on like day 7 of the Rona or whatever the hell I had, so it gets a bit dicey near the end, and I apologize in advance. This episode is brought to you by Kifaru International, the toughest hunting gear on the planet. Right now, Kifaru's just launched 2 new packs and a fishing rig and all kinds of stuff, so head over there and check it out. Kifaru.net. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by Just Shooting Arrows, BC's premier archery shop.
And then here we are using wide angle photos of deer to try and make our disc look bigger.
Yeah.
To a bunch of other dudes that care.
That's why I had to delete my Snapchat, dude. I just like, hey, how are you? If I got any response, it was instantly a dick pic.
What? No way.
No, I'm
that's
sure
what Skinny Codes' dick pic looks like that, or if his Snapchat or DM inbox would look like that, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, he actually was getting dick pics for a while.
I was wondering for a long time whether guys would actually have the balls to send it to him. But
several, enough that he's like, Nestor, seriously,
you gotta stop this shit. Poor guy doesn't fucking get paid enough for that.
Yeah, some guy wrote eco on his fucking dick.
Yeah,
sent it to Skinny Codes, and Skinny Codes screenshots and sends it to me. I open it, and I'm like, oh my god! And he goes, seriously, dude, nothing.
It was super hard to get the marker off too, man.
Yeah, no kidding, dude.
That Sharpie gave you a bit of a rash too.
Yeah, my wife was like, "What's an eco?"
Echo. You thought that there'd be more of them behind it coming if it was echoing.
Yeah, I couldn't figure the rest.
Should we start this thing or what?
Haven't we started?
I don't know. I hope not.
Why not? That's great.
Oh, well, definitely don't start with what's her name.
Oh yeah, no. I'm pretty good at cutting names, so I get some guys on this thing, Alex, and they just start telling me where they hunt, and I'm like, you probably don't want me to put that on the internet, huh?
Yeah. Fuck. Man, we have a TV show coming out, and they sent it for Taya Kyle's hunt.
Oh yeah.
Jim's buck made the cover of Eastman's, and he sends me the edit. Hey, just send it to the station. Just want to make sure, everything's good. And the first thing he does, he's like, Tay and I put in as a group and unit. I'm like, bro. I'm like, yeah, 5 seconds in, this thing's not going to fucking work. Like, don't tell him which unit. He's like, see, I had no idea. It's private land. I'm like, yeah, but everyone will apply here, man. Like, you can't tell them where we're hunting.
Yeah. Or apply to an adjacent unit or start fucking with your landowners and stuff.
Just putting in for that. I'm sure 10,000 people would put in for that unit.
How does that work with all your land that you hunt then? Like, are you kind of leasing or paying or just have an agreement with everyone?
I lease really large portions of properties, hundreds of thousands of
200,
acres.
like almost 300,000 acres or something like that?
Yeah, more than that.
Okay.
Even. Now it's getting up closer to 400 and some thousand.
And it's all like grain farm, corn farm, like pasture, like cattle grazing or what?
Yeah, all, I just got 2 new ranches. Both are about 20,000 acres. They are both Cedar Bluff ranch country, but there are bear and elk and deer there, and antelope. Nice. A lot of it's cropland that go into like CRP grassland or, big portions of pasture, cattle ranches. But yeah, just the plains, typical plains, eastern Colorado looks a lot like western Kansas. I do have some creek bottom and stuff, but yeah, all that I lease. Like
southern Alberta-ish kind of.
A lot of people compare it to Saskatchewan and parts of Alberta.
Okay. Sounds like the parts I hunt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The issue is there are a lot of places that I can hunt that I don't lease. I just pay a kill fee on, and they normally don't let other people hunt. But someone watches a TV show and someone's blasting off where we're hunting.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, someone with enough
money
come in. Yeah.
Fuck it up for you. Yeah.
How'd you get going, Alex?
I started guiding when I was real young. And then I went to work as I got a little older for a guy named Aaron Nielsen. He owned Global Hunting Resources. He had an outfitter that ran it. He was the GM. He ran it basically. Kind of a renowned hunter. He's fell off, but he's hunted all over the world. He's killed a lot of free range African lions. He's killed a sheep slam. He's killed from everywhere, man. He's good friends with Corey Knowlton.
Oh yeah.
Him and Corey Knowlton hunted the world together for years and years and years. Him and Larry and Cody. He just killed a huge Rocky in Idaho. I believe it was the Sheep Mountain Outfitters.
Oh, I saw that on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. He's I will give him this, man. He's a hell of a hunter. And at one time, until he got too big, he was a hell of a guide. I think he just got complacent. So I had another offer. I got a phone call from the Whitaker brothers. Mark Peterson had bought them out, and they wanted to pay me X amount of dollars to leave Aaron. So I actually talked him into buying out Aaron.
Oh.
But I got to keep my leases. And I did that for a couple of years. And then I said, man, my dad and I said, I'll get my outfitter's license. You get yours. We'll work under your license so you can make a little extra money until you don't want to do it anymore. And man, my old man doesn't do shit. So I don't think he'll ever quit. But I own HuntEco, and my dad just owns a sole proprietorship. Yeah, man. So we started doing our own thing.
Right on. That's a pretty good, honest way to come into it. And good start at it. Used to be a lot better, man. It used to be a lot better. It was a lot more big deer. I think my leases are better than they were. Just because I'm taking less hunters for more money, and I'm really taking big deer seriously. Improved management.
Yeah, we're shooting a lot of culls, but obviously shooting culls has nothing to do with your trophy quality. Those deer just never will be trophies. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're still breeding to some degree, aren't they?
Yeah, but when you look into it, those deer breeding aren't going to, it's all about age.
Yeah.
Every deer has maybe some genetic, but I've killed 3x4s that they're, as a 3-year-old, went to 4, went to 5, and threw inlines, kickers, and became crazy giants.
Yeah.
It's all age. That's where your management is, all age.
Yeah. Quit killing 3-year-old deer.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. You go kill a 3x4 or a 3x3 3-year-old or 4-year-old. Who knows what you've actually killed?
That's what Wasey always says too. My partner on the podcast, Alex, they have a big property in Alberta that they've been managing for whitetail for forever. And Wasey says he's not always trying to kill a trophy. He's just trying to kill the oldest buck on the property. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I always want to kill the oldest. Obviously, when you book guys, man, especially guys from Texas, and I'm not trying to be too hard on them. It all is, what's that deer score? Man,
it's all about the inches. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a 190-inch deer. Well, do you think he'll go 200? No, it's not going to go 200, but it's a 7-year-old deer. That's probably 190. Well, let's see if we can find a 200. And that's what bothers me. But yeah, shooting calls is fun as hell, but it's just getting them, because they're not going to be anything else. It's not necessarily getting them out of the genetic pool.
Do you think that's just a culture down there that it kind of ends up just being a big dick measuring contest with inches then?
Man, when guys are able to afford guided hunts, which if you want to kill shit, go on a guided hunt, right?
Yeah.
But it does turn in, and guys are paying money to shoot what they want to shoot. It's just, there's a difference between score and being a realist. And I think when you take an actual hunter, an actual mule deer guy, that's a realist that's not going to spend $100 and some $1,000 on a
governor's tag. Yeah.
If there's a 6-7 year old deer that's over 185, 190, a true hunter that gets it's going to be like, yes, sir.
That's a trophy. It should be a trophy in anybody's book.
Yeah. But there's guys that in the same aspect that I have more respect for that come hunt with me. I tell everyone, if you can give me 3 years of your life, we'll shoot a giant.
Yeah.
But there's guys that come out that, you know what I mean? They'll go 2 or 3 years, tip the same as somebody that shoots a 200-inch deer
and not, be like, not kill anything
and say, all I want's a 200, dude. I know that the probabilities here are higher than most places. And if we see a 190, man, I'm not mad at you. It's a great deer. I've just shot 5 or 6 of them. And are happy enough to be there, whether they're going home with nothing or not.
Well, I mean, good for you as a guide if they're realistic and they're understanding in that position, but I wouldn't be passing up a 190.
Oh man, it's crazy, but that's just part of it. Guide life, man.
Yeah. Justin, have you chatted with Alex at all about kind of the management system in BC and sort of maybe get his thoughts and feelings if you give him a rough overview?
Alex knows, I don't think it's a problem dropping him, but Mike Southern, who's a accomplished hunter here in BC. And I think he's fairly aware of the way things are. I mean, we have a totally different system, a different geographical, we have way different terrain here. Most of our big mule deer are more timber bucks and they grow a lot differently, but yeah, I don't know. Our mule deer numbers are on the decline, and they have been for a while now. I mean, I can remember growing up when even 15 years ago, you'd see 10 times the deer just driving around when you're out hunting before you even get to where you're, going to hike from. There'd be deer everywhere, and it's just not the same way for a variety of reasons. And we can get into that if we want. I mean, you got wolves coming to you there, Nestor.
Yeah, no. And our deer population's absolutely on the decline on the western slope. There's too many over-the-counter units for resident, non-resident. But the season dates are changing where you're able to hunt these mule deer extremely early with a bow when they're velvet, and they're just so predictable. And it's right in the middle of their rut with a long range rifle.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, you know how these rifles are now. We can shoot. I don't know. My guy set up my guns for me. I lay down and can shoot 700 yards. No problem.
Like it's 200.
Like it's nothing. Yeah. The first time I shot my gun was like 816 yards, and I hit a 8-inch by 8-inch deal.
Yeah.
A little, one of those little steel plates. It's just unbelievable to me. And to hunt in the mountains when the snow hits during the rut with a long range rifle on an over-the-counter tag.
No, it's a game changer. Yeah.
Yeah. We got wolves here already. Obviously, finally, it's, our first documented wolf kill.
Rat tail man himself or what?
Yeah, no. We had a wolf go in and kill a cow, a heifer calving.
Yeah.
And then we had a wolf go in and attack a cattle. I think they killed. Don't quote me on that, but they did attack a cattle dog.
Oh,
a healer. So that's like 2 in a month. And Chester did document a wolf, obviously.
The first good thing he's ever done.
Yeah, it was a wolf, man. It was a wolf. I couldn't believe it. So we have them. I don't know why we quote unquote want to reintroduce something that's already here.
That's a whole nother conversation with a whole bunch of different motives.
No, in the same aspect with BC, I do kind of know your guys' conservation acts and efforts of, in Colorado, they're running it as a business.
And
it's money.
I mean,
non-residents. What's that?
Go ahead.
Non-residents pay $641 for a tag. A resident pays $41.
Right.
So why not let all these guys come in and just kill? Same thing. I remember being a kid going to the winter grounds, especially for elk, and seeing 10 times the amount of elk we're seeing now. And they're saying our population's doing so good. There might be a lot of deer, a lot of elk, but there damn sure isn't the trophy quality there used to be either.
Well, I mean, I think we can all agree as herd numbers go down and they're struggling to survive and keep their numbers up, the quality of competitive breeding with a lot of males, it's always going to be reduced. The sort of less competitive breeding you have and the harder your environment is, it makes it, there's going to be less trophy deer because there's a lower gene pool and there's going to be a worse selection there.
Yeah. And you see it over a few years. Yeah. I mean, guys shooting these 2, 3, 4-year-old deer. I mean, slaughtering them.
Oh yeah.
And you see that you might not see it the first year, the second year, in 2 or 3, 4 years. Now we're seeing it. Are they still killing big deer here and there? Absolutely.
It happens. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm very fortunate to be able to manage my properties the way I want. And I can even see it being affected out there.
You're not untouched by what's going on around you.
Exactly.
Yeah. The same. I don't know whether you know our actual specifics, but like our deer hunting opens September 1st, and most regions that's with a bow until the 10th of September. But some regions that's you can hunt 4-point or bigger with a rifle right from September 1st, and then from the 10th on to the October 30th in sort of the majority of the regions where people are mule deer hunting is open for any buck with a rifle, like 1 inch of antler protruding from the head, and it's good to go.
Yeah.
And then I just added it up. I think someone's going to correct me and my math is going to be wrong on my calculator here, but 1,516 mule deer doe tags that are open.
Unreal.
And they're making money off of that, but not very much. I mean, it's all residents putting in for those draws. You have to put in for it in the spring before, but you're basically, I mean, most of the odds on a doe tag, if you put in, you're going to get it. 100%. And I don't know how many of them get filled or not, but I know the attitude of the majority of hunters is if you go out for only 2 or 3 weekends out of the whole year hunting and you don't see a buck and you see a doe on the second to last day, well, that doe is probably going to die. Yeah. And I don't agree with that personally. You can argue with me all you want that you're putting meat in your freezer, and that's great. But I'll stick to my argument that you go support a rancher and buy a side of beef, and that's going to be way better than some doe mule deer that was pregnant or should have been being bred at that time anyways.
Yeah. I have an awful time here. I don't know if you guys know this with our elk herds is you can shoot cow elk. They're still shooting cow elk here.
Yeah, same here if you have a draw.
And it's man, why are we shooting pregnant elk? You know, these cows are pregnant right now, and they just have population control, and it's just like, man, I wish there would be a different view on it as far as, like I said, maybe the numbers to these guys aren't as bad as what they seem like to me. However, you go out, the reality on the ground seems a lot different from the numbers that we're hearing the people, the government talk about, right? And the amount of bulls, man, is just poor. And most of those calves, you'd like to think most of them are going to be bull calves.
Well, I mean, 50-50, I guess, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know what the problem, I mean, you'd think it'd be 50-50. I don't know what the exact statistic would be if there's more bull calves or cow calves, if they know. it's just disappointing to me.
It's hard not to be pessimistic when you look at it from a point of kind of the boots on the ground look at it, when you look at the numbers decreasing year after year, and the people that are like you that spend a lot of time out are seeing the same things, and you're talking about that, and then you look to the government making the rules and the biologists, and they're kind of spouting off a completely different story. It's hard not to almost feel like, are you guys trying to manage this into the ground? Like, is this your plan? Because if so, you're doing a good job, but I just don't see the benefit to destroying our wildlife population.
Yeah, no. And like I said, they go up in planes, they do these copter counts, they look at the migration. There's not the quality, and maybe I'm coming at it as a trophy hunter, but there's not the quality. And I know this from every serious hunter on the western slope of Colorado. I know that for a fact. In eastern Colorado, we do have an issue with chronic wasting disease.
Right.
That doesn't usually affect these deer until they're 5, 6, 7 years old. When they're mature. Which is a problem in its own too, but yeah, it's a problem in its own.
They can be managed somewhat.
Yeah, but this is a point of them almost wanting to take our deer herd and having an average, giving out so many tags that we average 3.5-year-old deer to try to control it. And I just don't agree with that either. Because how long's chronic wasting disease been here? This is the first time, what was it, in a captive deer in Colorado, the first recorded incident. But we've had this, and now we have the technology to test more. So of course we're going to find more cases,
more numbers. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Let's talk about something positive for a second. How's cat hunting going for you this year?
I was at Dallas Safari Club, and then came back and went to Sheep Show. But the guys have been taking the dogs out and catching some cats. I've caught a couple really big toms. I let a couple really big toms walk. The dogs are doing good. The pups are turning up. It's been good.
Right on. I've been out a couple times this year, and one buddy that I've been trying to get out to that's got dogs, he unfortunately had to put his lead dog down, and he's got 3 young ones with no lead dog, and he's having a hell of a time without a lead dog. And I'm sure maybe you don't know how that goes, but I'm sure you do. Imagine how that's going.
My pups are, for the last several years, have always been real good. But I started like everybody else with not a lot, walking a lot of tracks.
Well, and I hate to bring this up because we're just trying to make it into a positive note, but this bill that's been introduced here on the 12th last week here, they're trying to ban all recreational hunting of bobcat, mountain lion, Canadian lynx, and cougar for you. Another drastic change to the elk and deer population.
And small game, you guys know as good as I do. They kill a lot of small game, but they say there's 6,000-7,000 cats here in Colorado. Let's say those mature cats, say 4,500 of them are killing a deer or an elk every week and a half. 10 days. Don't manage them. Don't kill the hundreds we have on quota. We're trying to kill the old cats. Those old toms will just start wrecking kittens, and those cats will become mature, and they'll all start killing deer and elk.
And they don't always eat what they kill either. I'm sure you've seen stashed deer up in trees and shit that have barely been touched.
Yeah, no, coyotes and all these predators that run a lion off.
And not that I'm not trying to vilify cougars. I mean, I think they're a pretty incredible animal, as I'm sure you do too. But they need to be managed.
Yeah, and I think we manage them. I think what we do as a houndsman, killing these old toms, these mature old toms, are benefiting the cougars.
100%.
Tyler Jonerson has become a really good friend of mine. I don't know if you guys remember the documentary that was on National Geographic Well, they were trying to show the benefit of hounding, houndsmen, and they put a camera in a cave, and they'd had a couple big toms in the area, and the female had hell with her kittens, and then finally the tom went in there and just killed the kittens. And that happens just like with bears.
Yep.
They took away our ability to bait and run bears with hounds years ago. So now we have no spring bear season. We just have a spot and stock fall bear season.
You can't.
The amount of bears.
You can't rifle hunt them in the spring. You can't kill bears, period, in the spring, right?
No spring hunting.
No, none at all.
None. So wow. The amount of, and when you see a bear, I mean, in Colorado in the fall, we have the oak brush, we have the dark timber where these bears live. You can kill bears because there's so many. Mm-hmm. But just another example of people caring too much about an animal they don't know enough about.
Yeah, the image of it, the thought of it is lovely and nice, and you get this, pristine nature, wild, the wolf howling, the bear, meandering across a mountainside, not realizing the impact that they have on wildlife in that area.
Absolutely. I mean, dude, these bears come out of hibernation, eat grass, and then cows are laying calves down and deer are laying fawns down.
Oh, they just follow them around. Come white.
They just follow them around.
Literally.
It's just like how maybe you ask yourself, like, if no one has ever taken this into consideration, or when this was all happening several years ago, if no one brought this up, like, I don't understand how this is an irrational thought to anyone.
I don't know. I mean, I look at the state of our world today, and I don't know how many rational thoughts there are amongst the general population, right? Look where we're at.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. I don't think BC and Colorado are all that much different, man.
I don't think so. I mean, I think you got like one or two big cities with the most of the population that kind of has the loudest angry voice that can sway things back and forth. And then it's the minority spread out along 90% of the rest of the actual geographical location, like the farmers and ranchers and people in the logging industry and mining and whatever else that we're doing, that are we're more in touch with the wildlife and what's going on. And we've got our, shrugging our shoulders going like, what, do you guys not see what we're seeing? Like, are we the ones that are stupid here? Like, why are you banning a grizzly bear hunt? There's grizzlies all over the place. Like, now we got to kill grizzlies and not say anything about it because we don't, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. It's people that spend their entire life on pavement.
They've never been off a concrete sidewalk. Like, I wish that they could make a program where they put a GoPro camera harness on an alpha wolf on a pack in central BC and watch how many animals that fucking wolf destroys in the matter of a week, and sees the brutality that goes on and how many pretty little animals that thing kills and eats or takes a bite of and doesn't eat and moves on to the next thing. I mean, it'd never happen, but I would hope that people watch that, it might sort of, tune them into the reality of how a wolf pack can come through and decimate everything on four legs and leave. And that doesn't come back. And all you get out of it is some piles of wolf shit and some bones.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Same people that, like you said, an African lion, a wolf, a grizzly bear, and they kill something. These are the same people that say, "Oh, I can't watch."
Yeah,
that's the gist of it.
It's like trying to make sense of something you're never gonna make sense of, though.
Exactly.
Like, we can't wrap our heads around that because we've our accumulation of life experience has led us to the past where we are now. And we can't, it's hard not to want to judge somebody for thinking they're an idiot for not seeing reality the way we do, but maybe they've never seen it. And
yeah,
I don't know how you open their eyes to it in a way that they might one day, be open to seeing it from a different way if they've never done it before. But I mean, if you come to the point where you take your once a month hike where you've driven out from the city a couple hours and you want to be able to hear a wolf howl, if you hear a wolf howl that time, there are too many fucking wolves in that area, and that is all there is to it. Or you've gotten really lucky and heard a 1 in a million shot. But if you hear it every time, you're not going to hear, anything but wolves or see anything but wolves in the future to come.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going downhill fast. You release 11, I believe, is it 11 breeding pairs is what the bill introduced here in Colorado. This is the same thing they did at Yellowstone.
Yeah. And look where they're at.
And now look where they're at. Their wolves are spilling into us.
Yeah. Of course Montana,
they are. Wyoming, Idaho are just having hell with wolves.
Yep.
Yeah. The back to the cougar bill. I hope we can prevent it. The support looks, we're all donating money and trying to fight this and have a voice.
It does seem somewhat hopeful just from what I've read and kind of seen on the internet and Instagram and stuff. It does seem somewhat hopeful, and I hope,
I did look at the donations. We've come up with 35, 40 grand of a $300,000 goal.
Yeah.
And, I looked, maybe it was 183 or 283 people have donated this all. That's not enough. That's not enough at all. So maybe it's just because those 283 people and some other major people that we consider influences on our social media are the ones sharing this. But believe me, 20,000 people in Colorado's not enough.
Yeah.
So it's a shame.
More people aren't up in arms against, supporting the fighting this bill.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna
take a look, or, use us as the lesson from losing our grizzly bear hunt in the end of 2017 there. I mean, we got some bad rap. An NHL player went on a limited entry grizzly hunt here and ended up shooting a grizzly that a native band said was their, kind of spirit bear thing. And I'm probably getting this wrong, but this is the general, point of the story. And they made a big stink about it when they found out that this guy was a famous NHL player. And then it just so happened that there was some more to the story where he was actually ineligible to hunt in BC as a resident because he was playing for an American team and down in the States for more than 6 months out of the year, which under our hunting regulations makes you ineligible to hunt as a BC resident. And he killed that grizzly under a resident tag. And so they ended up diving into that and then fining him and taking it away. And it blew up on social media and the news and everything. And there's lots of newspaper articles and whatnot about that. And then that kind of set off this, well, why are you guys killing grizzlies anyway? And the social perception of that in the media just took off like wildfire. And that started petitions and protests. And why are we killing grizzly bears? They're harmless and innocent, and we have no place to be killing them. And the only reason you kill them is for a trophy anyway. And trophy hunters are disgusting. And it happened without us even really realizing what was going on. And we're sitting here now going like, shit, I wish we knew how we could have fought that back when it was happening, but no one ever really gave it a second thought. It just happened.
Yeah. No, I'm scratching my head how this bill was introduced without it can just be thrown, into our government. Why we don't get a chance to fight it beforehand, or why Colorado Parks and Wildlife didn't say, hey, they're fixing to introduce this bill. Why was this such a surprise to all of us? Why is somebody like Colorado Parks and Wildlife, who are here to protect us as hunters, why are they not in on the politics of, whoa, these people are introducing this. No, we need to stop this. This is why. We're helping manage the state of Colorado's wildlife, and this is a bill that we should not introduce. So that's kind of got me scratching my head.
How it must have some support from people that are making noise, because otherwise it wouldn't be there.
Oh, yeah, all the support in the world from everyone, like you said, on the Front Range where our population is.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
those who they thought needed to know knew. And I shouldn't put so much blame on the shoulders of Colorado Parks and Wildlife. I just think they should be rubbing shoulders with these people daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're here to protect us.
Yeah.
They're here to protect our wildlife.
Yeah, but we lose sight of the forest for the trees in front of us, and that
absolutely
seems to be the way it goes. Unfortunately, I mean, common sense is not so common anymore.
That's absolutely right.
And I can say it from a selfish point of view, honestly. Like, I don't want a bunch of wolves and bears in areas where I sheep and deer hunt. I mean, a pack of wolves, I know for a fact there was at least one large pack of wolves, like 10 plus, where I bighorn hunt and where a bunch of my buddies bighorn hunt. And they went through it in the end of October, beginning of November. And I know that where they went is where all the ewes and lambs hang out. And there's not a huge group of them. And say there were 35 ewes and lambs there. Well, if half of them gotten taken out, like, to think that that's not going to make a huge drastic effect over the next 5 years of that population. I mean, you're crazy.
Yeah. But I agree.
But then
they just take the kill too.
They're stuck in they're in a ravine kind of thing down in the crotch of a drainage of a mountain, and a pack of wolves circles them in. They don't even stand a chance.
No, not at all.
Like 24 hours and that whole herd could be gone.
Yeah. And there may be a case where that it hasn't happened.
Oh, I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has. I've seen it deer hunting in some areas. Ty knows where I'm at here talking about, but I've been deer hunting there since I was a child. My family actually used to own, it was the largest ranch in BC at one point in time. Back in the 50s and 60s is when my family was involved with it. But Ty and I both been deer hunting there for, a decade and a half, or me 2 decades myself. But I've been in there and found areas where the wolves have gotten in, where the small resident herd of deer were wintering in there. And I've found like over a dozen wolf kills within 100 square yards. In clumps of trees in this kind of rolling breaky hill kind of country. And not one of these was hunting human related. Every single one of these was wolf kill. Yeah. And this probably happened within the space of a couple of days or a day, depending on the size of the pack. And this is what happens. So wolves just roll through, kill whatever they can find, and move on to the next one. There's no discrimination. It's not like people think that there's going to, it's nature. You got to let it happen. It will all balance itself. This is the way nature goes. It's like that. You guys don't understand. As humans, we've fucked up the natural landscape so much, putting roads everywhere, moving things out of their natural habitat, destroying habitat. that our industry, yes, it's too bad, but we have a responsibility as humans on the landscape that have encroached upon the wildlife to help manage that, because no wildlife will not manage itself. I'm sure it's the same way for you.
Oh, dude, in Colorado, where I grew up elk hunting, the family had been over there. My cousin's family had been there for over 100 years. And his grandpa actually told us that.
Was this Oog?
It was Oog's spot. It was Oog's dad. It was Oog's dad, man. Oog is like, this dude is still getting it. The strongest old man I've ever met. Yeah, but just true mountain man.
Yeah.
His grandpa, they told me this story. I'll probably screw this up, but his father, his name's Pearly. He used to walk off the mountain all the way down to Beaver Creek area, to Vale area, to go to town.
Beaver liquor.
Yeah, just to try to meet girls, man. He had to walk on foot, couldn't wear out a horse, and which is just such a drastic, nasty fucking walk. But I mean, you got to do what you have to do in those days. But yeah, he told me, so he saw a lot of that country like on foot. He told us that the first elk he had seen there was in the 60s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's elk. They weren't from there naturally. They're plains game.
Yep.
Wyoming, other parts of Colorado, Montana. They
never really had elk at the beginning, eh?
Yeah, well, not in that general area. Now it's there's a lot of elk there now. He just says, "Hey, it's the first time I remember seeing elk here," and they ran. I think they had sheep and everything else, cattle. So just interesting because now there's a lot of elk there.
Yeah. And the wolves can be hard on elk too, and I don't mean to keep coming back to that, but I hope you guys are able to, keep those numbers somewhat managed and that they don't affect your elk your population so much.
You can't trap them, you can't shoot them. They're already here. They're going to release more. I'm not sure how we're going to manage that.
Some good old boys will do it.
Yeah, the same as Yellowstone. Well, we're only releasing X amount. Well, good luck,
Yeah, but they breed. They breed like rabbits. Yeah. Oh yeah, it doesn't take long for them to start multiplying in insane numbers.
And they're smart. They protect each other as a pack.
Oh, they're insanely smart. Let's change the topic here a little bit. Let's get into sheep a little bit here. Are you still going to make a move on trying to work on your slam here?
Yeah, dude, I am. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it really fast too.
Yeah, just bang it off.
What do you have left?
Bang it off, man. I am going to just start shooting sheep. I'm actually trying to get it done this end of this month on my first desert.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and I'm going to rock and roll. I've been in contact with Clay Lancaster.
Yep.
And he's a good friend of Snyder, so I have a really good hookup there. And I kind of made the point of I really want to kill some sheep, and as fast as I can. So,
where are you going for your desert, if you don't mind saying?
I'm going to go with a guy named Hunter Ross, just down outside of Hermosillo. The guy's from Texas. He's a big oddad hunter.
Yeah.
Desert safaris. He hunts a little bit in my neck of the woods in eastern Colorado. And we have a mutual friend that's kind of put us in contact. And he did some stuff in BC, Russell McLennan.
Okay.
Him and Brock have done some stuff there. And I like Russell, and he suggested him. It's a true free range hunt. So, and in Mexico, that's starting to get a little bit too far.
Yeah. Know how that's going down there.
Yeah, the desert or the mule deer thing's a lot different than it was.
It's either fences or cartels or both you're dealing with.
Yeah, or they, fence cartels, or they released them from a fence onto a different ranch.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I mean, desert's a tough game. I mean, pretty much anybody's paying for it now. You just kind of got to get it done and off the list, I suppose.
Yeah. I got some deals going. It should be more affordable for me. The one thing I don't have any Seance or Rocky, which I'll probably do in Alberta.
Right.
And which is great, man.
Oh, you know Dustin, don't you? Give Dustin a call.
Yeah, I don't know him that well, but that is who I will call for sure.
They get some pretty nice ones in BC southeastern BC killed as well too. They've got some spectacular dark horned rams out that way. Yeah, no,
so I'm all for it. I'm going to do it. And I go to Spain here next month.
Oh, right on. Yeah. With Fran.
Yeah, with Fran. And I actually bought a separate hunt. I got two for a really good deal at the auction. It's a sheep show.
Ibex?
Ibex. So probably shoot 2 with Fran and 2 with these people that there's quite a few people that have hunted with them. And then, I still have that deposit down in Tajik. I don't want to go by myself.
Well, you know what? That's funny. I was going to bring it up, but I didn't want to talk about my own stuff. But I've been looking to book either a Kyrgyzstan or a Tajikistan mid-Asian Ibex for 2022.
Yeah, so I have my deposit down and I can go either place.
Did you book that through Brian?
Yeah, through Brian.
Okay. We should maybe talk about this after.
Yeah, man, I was supposed to go. I mean, he's still trying to get me to go this year. And I'm like, man, I don't want to go there with someone I don't know, that I don't know if I can hang out with them, A, and B, what if some shit happens and I'm over there for a while.
Stuck over there with some fucking weirdo.
Yeah. Who knows?
So you're definitely out then, Justin.
Yeah, I'm pretty weird.
I love those Ibex, man. That's a huge hit list for me.
And the train that it gets you into. I mean, when are you going to end up 14,500 feet in the mountains of the like Afghanistan border? When are you going to do that in your life, if not for an Ibex?
Absolutely, man. So I'm stoked for that. And then I literally talked to Trey Sparing today. We're supposed to go in June on the coast for a brown bear in Russia, and he's really trying to push it to April, May to go on sleds. And the new camp has Wi-Fi. It's
Were you going to try and do that with your bow?
I am, because last year's first year they legalized it. Actually, a guy from Utah, I don't know if you guys saw that Kalen Lemon.
Oh, yeah. He killed one with a bow, yeah.
Giant bear. Yeah, and it's very...
What did that thing go? Almost 10 feet? Or
I think it was probably 10 foot plus, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive.
Absolutely. So I should...
You got a lot on your plate.
Yeah. I should have a really good year here starting soon, which I'm excited about. Then I'll shoot my leopard here in July, August, probably.
Back to Africa?
Back to Africa. It should be my last trip, man.
Where are you going there? Namibia or?
I'm going to Zimbabwe for the leopard.
Oh, okay.
We're running the leopard with dogs.
Oh, nice. I did Zimbabwe and Zambia in 2010 and was on a couple of kills, but never. I didn't have the budget myself, but yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
pretty awesome country.
I've been here for 4 years, and other than those 4 years that I could go, other than the COVID year, it was great. I did it. I'm ready to really start hashing away at other things. Like I want to go to Macedonia and do that do the Cree, do the mouflon. I want to kill my chamois. I've done some New Zealand stuff. I want to kill my water buffalo. So all pretty affordable. I'm ready to start hashing away about some other stuff, Asia and definitely the sheep stuff from Canada.
Yeah, that's hard to pass up. And I think some of those like higher altitude sheep hunts where it's harder on your body, I mean, for me, when I'm thinking about like, hey, am I going to be able to get a BC slam? Am I going to have to pay for a doll hunt? Because we can only hunt doll in BC if you draw. Like there's no over the counter tag for doll whatsoever. And if you're trying to get a BC slam, you're just basically waiting on that limited entry hunt. There's one outfitter that does it in BC. But that kind of stuff, I feel like it's better if you have the money when you're younger to do it, because I think you'll enjoy it more than if you're 60 and you wait and your body's kind of letting go on you a bit. And like, I think all you'd be thinking at that point in time, like, great, I have the money and it's not such a big cost to me, but fuck, I wish I had done it when I was 30 and I had, my knees and my hips and stuff under me, and it would be way more enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I can definitely tell too. I'm getting old. I mean, I'm not old, still in shape, but I can tell I'm getting older. So I want to start getting that stuff out of the way. I think I have quite a few years left. So,
well, I mean, I hope so. You look at these guys now that are they're still going hard in their 50s and 60s in the mountains. So absolutely,
man. Yeah, the guy that taught me to lion hunt, he's from Cody, Wyoming, and he is still he is a badass.
Yeah.
He's legit. This hound hunting definitely helps me.
Keeps you in shape?
Yeah, the Eastern Colorado shit doesn't help me at all. I don't even take my spotter usually off my window mount because I can find everything from the pickup.
The Raptor's pretty smooth, eh?
Yeah, right.
Oh, Ty, are you there, Ty?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm just listening.
Ty's got a fun hunt coming up here, and you're still planning on going on that?
Yeah, late February here. It'll be should be pretty cool. It's a hunt I said I would never do, so
it's going on a winter goat hunt.
Oh, nice. Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm going with a few guys that really know what they're doing, so it'll be a good time, I think.
Yeah, Mike hooked me up. I cannot remember this outfitter's name, and I'm supposed to go. And they go up there, man, and they're killing like 52s, 54s. And Mike's like, dude, you got to fucking come. But every time you go to Canada, I go to Canada, it's like an 8-hour hostage event at the fucking airport.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, never good. I mean, it's not bad either. It's just like, yeah,
can you like call in advance and say, yo, I'm coming up. What do I need to do?
Yeah, that's what I do now, but they still hold you. Like Canadian prison would be all that bad.
Oh, they probably give you like free weed and maple syrup and pancakes or something.
I think you get an Xbox for sure.
An emotional support beaver.
Yeah. Not
that kind of beaver. Don't get too excited.
Yeah. No, I'm jealous of that mountain goat hunt. It'll be haired up. It'll be amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're haired right up. Something fierce in February.
Can't imagine. We're supposed to it's dry here. We finally are getting some snow. We're supposed to get some more snow here Friday, so we should get some more cats down, I'd hope.
Yeah, it's been like 3 degrees up where I'm going, and I hope it doesn't, hit that February -30 that they get up there, but hopefully it gets a little cooler so we get a crust on the snow at least.
Yeah. Oof.
So
that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
That'll be worth it.
Sorry, go ahead, Ty.
Sorry, Justin, I can't remember if I told you. I just found out the other day they're actually logging in the area. So
you mentioned something about that.
It'll save us like 30, 34, 35K of sled. So that's cool.
Be able to drive a lot further down on that FSR.
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. Go ahead.
No, I said that's amazing. Yeah, save you a lot of time. I fucking hate riding sleds, man. Hate it.
Especially in minus 30.
Yeah. I don't care what the temperature is, man. I just hate them. I hate them. I'm from Colorado. Like when we have to check for line tracks on a sled, it's just like I get so pissed.
Man, the best sledders in the world are from Colorado.
I put the tracks on a side by side, and I feel so much better.
With a heater.
I don't even need a heater. I just do not want to be leaning on one of those things.
Fair enough. So your guide season's all finished up then?
Yeah, Clay got all the permits where we could take lion hunters up there. Those units have closed. I think he still has the permits in one area. So if we catch snow up there, we'll probably take some more lion hunters. But yeah, and then I head to. I'm not far away from heading down to Texas for my audette hunts.
Nice. Are you going to see Scotty there?
No, I'm really not that far from them, but my ranch is closer to the Mexico border.
Oh, cool. Deadly.
Yeah, a little further from him.
Did you end up buying that property down in Texas you were talking about?
We were going to, I haven't, we were going to close on it. We just haven't. I'm still in contact with them, but yeah, I plan on it for sure.
Wow, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a place down there too.
It's like an ever-growing empire.
Yeah, it's nice. I really want to get a long-term audette lease. It's probably one of my favorite things we do. Kill some javelina, and we took a lot of guys from BC. I've donated hunts to the Wild Sheep Society of BC, some antelope and aoudad. Southern and Heitzman, both guys on the board, have came. A guy named Malcolm has came. I'm trying to think. An old pilot out of BC, cool guy. He came down and shot a giant old ram. Oh gosh, I'll think of his name here in a bit. But he was like one of the first guys taking guys into this area for stone sheep. I believe he was Jim Shockey's first time going to this area.
Was his name Dieter?
No, it wasn't Dieter. Old guy. Really cool guy, man. I fucking really enjoyed him. One of Mike's favorite people in the world.
But he come down there with you?
Yeah, he came down, shot a sheep. Just had a blast, man. Had a blast.
That's my bad. I actually meant to bring that up so you didn't have to pump your own tires, but you got the reputation as your big bad mule deer killer, but a lot of the stuff that you do for conservation and donating hunts and stuff kind of goes under the radar. But yeah, I saw that you donated a bunch of stuff to Wild Sheep Society of BC and WSF and everything else. And, it's appreciated, and it's a real respectful thing that you do doing that. The WSSBC does a lot of good stuff here for not only sheep, but for a lot of other species here in BC. And we appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, no, I think the guys on that board are amazing. And I think their heads are in a good place for you guys. They're good people.
Yeah, they do a lot of good. I mean,
Mike Southern might be one of my favorite people in the world, man. He's like, me and him are two peas in a pod for sure. Think a lot alike.
That's wicked.
I'm sure there's a lot of guys in BC that you'd get along with. Well, there's a lot of like-minded guys here, and kind of dealing with some of the same shit that you guys deal with down there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what do you want to talk about, Ty? You want to talk about guns for a second?
Sure. I mean, whatever. I'm easy. I'm like, I've kind of been passenger on this one. I've been listening along and muting my mic here and there. So,
well, I mean, yeah, we can talk about guns till you're blue in the face, but I know Nestor's, you deal with Snowy Mountain, and then you've had a couple ones built here recently. Just want to hear your 2 cents on that. Did you get a 33 nozzler built here?
Yeah, I had a 33 nozzler, 300 mag. I was having the guys at Viking Ornament. I want to try them. I haven't had it built. I haven't paid them, but they were going to do 300 Norma.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of powder.
Yeah, I'm all for that, man.
Yeah.
I like to have the power behind it for sure. But man, my guys help set up my guns. They're really into it. I grew up, rifle hunting quite a bit, but mainly got into I really got into muzzleloader hunting, open sight, loose powder.
Yeah.
And then I really got into archery hunting, man. And I would probably, on these guided hunts, I'm shooting more stuff with a gun, just because of the investment.
Yeah.
But
draw blood, you owe money.
Yeah, I definitely prefer archery hunting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's super fun.
Yeah, these guns are just outrageous. So man, it's unbelievable. And these Night Force scopes and the stuff Josh, my guy Josh Clark is just so good at it. The stuff he's done and to set up my guns is just bar none.
What did you take down to Africa with you last time you went? Was that that Snowy Mountain 300 Win Mag?
I took the 33 and then I shot a lot with that double gun. I shot a lot with a crossbow. I never shot a crossbow in my life, man, in my whole life. And this guy's like, man, you shoot this brand new crossbow they sent me. I was like, oh, shit.
You're going to take some flack for that for sure, right?
Yeah. And, the dude, he has a sponsorship and stuff. So I was going to shoot the buffalo with like a double gun, a 470 or something. And I ended up shooting it with a crossbow. Which
does that make it not count? Are you actually minus one for that?
I mean, it was, it was pretty 40, right at 40 yards the first time I shot him.
Yeah.
I think I would have been better off shooting him with just a compound.
Yeah. But you'd take less flack for sure.
Yeah. But
I actually might not even post this podcast now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, dude, I actually was like, damn, this thing is bad. The first time I shot it.
Dude, did you see the ones that came out this year?
The ones that don't even have really limbs, they just the limbs go back with the cams
and they shoot 500 feet per second.
That might be the same one I was shooting, actually. The cams came all the way, or the limbs came all the way back with the cam. They twisted this thing up.
Oh yeah!
The first time I shot was 94 yards, and it was as good as I could have shot a gun as center of the bullseyes I've ever seen.
It's an arrow gun.
I couldn't help but look at that thing. Look at how narrow it is. There's no limbs sticking out the side, and I'm just like, this thing is a truck poacher's wet dream. That's all I can think of.
Oh, dude.
I told the guy that too. I was like, dude, it's a fucking gun. Man. I shoot this better than I shoot a muzzle.
Well, it's got a fucking trigger tech and a vortex
on a little hair trigger. The fucking in Colorado, these poor guys, these old timers that have bad issues. I have a guy that has a crossbow permit, lifetime, but he has to have a 1-power scope.
Yeah,
this scope that was on this thing was just.
Oh yeah, you got to dial it in, man. You're looking up dope on a ballistic calculator for the thing.
It's just crazy.
It's got a Night Force ATAC R on his crossbow.
Dude.
Yeah, but there's no reason to go to Africa and just not fucking shoot something with a 470 or whatever.
I bet you there's a dude somewhere in, I don't know, where can I start? I don't know. I want to paint all entire state with a broad brush, but I bet you there's a dude somewhere in some state with freaking nods on and one of those crossbows just running around at night arrowing giant deer. It exists.
Oh yeah. There has to be a guy these people. I never knew anything. Dude, this is the first time I've ever even actually saw how they cocked these things.
Oh, yeah.
I knew nothing about it.
I think there's one that just came out. You cock the thing with a DeWalt impact
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, great technology, but it kind of goes to show if it takes zero skill to shoot the thing, I mean, why are we letting a crossbow be an archery season here in BC?
No, there should not. See, that's the difference is in like Colorado, you can't use one. You can use it during rifle season.
Oh, here you can use it during our archery only season.
Yeah, you can't. You should see. You shouldn't be able to use these things during archery season.
It's way more of a rifle than it is a bow.
Yeah. In the same aspect, you shouldn't shoot the fuck it. You shouldn't be shooting Cape Buffalo with these things either, though.
Yeah.
I didn't think. I mean, I was smoking this thing, and like 4 miles later, it was just like, dude, I should have shot this thing with a gun, like I said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, I hate to be a guy that would advocate for something being removed from a season. I don't like to see momentum start to happen that way. But at the same time, I kind of think like if the point of a season is because the weapon of take has less efficacy and you know, it brings that harvest number way down, right? I don't think you should be. A
crossbow is not meeting that.
No, that's what I mean, right? Like if you put all the hunters in the field with those crossbows, they'd have almost as much success as they do with, you know, guys shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor.
A crossbow should not be allowed in any archery season. After my experience, this is the only experience is even just seeing this.
Yeah, I mean, out to 100 yards, like, is there any difference between that crossbow and a 6.5 Creedmoor?
I think 140, I think I could still be shooting very, very well. Same point. I mean, Snyder, Dudley, these guys, dude, these dudes at 140 yards are completely deadly.
Those guys should have to hunt with cedar shafts. That should be a rule.
I mean, everybody messes still from time to time. I heard Dudley backstrapped a deer.
Yeah. But I mean, he hit a sunflower head in his. The dude. That's one thing I'll stand up for him.
Is his tipping ability?
Yeah, is
oh boy.
That and that guy is probably one of the most lethal bow shots on planet Earth. Levi Morgan, Aaron Snyder, I mean,
okay, so we got to episode 83 of this podcast, Nestor, without anybody mentioning how shitty of a tipper Dudley was, and you just let the cat out of the bag, Justin.
Because that was me. That was all me.
No, that's what I said. I said Justin let the cat.
This was Dudley's deal. They shot 2 deer, 190-inch deer, something like whatever they were, 180-inch deer. Him and one of his dear friends, second to last day, both shoot amazing bucks the same day. Bucks almost look related, matching in lines. Dudley just, basically I was gone and I grabbed another hunter and hauled ass because we're done. And I was like, hey, let's go hunt early, and because they got into town.
Mm-hmm.
And so he left the tip with Jordan, and Jordan's like, hey, are you going to tip Nestor? And he's like, oh, no, I don't think you tipped the outfitter. So that was his excuse, which is fine.
Oh, well.
I'm like trying not to say the stories I've heard, but
miscommunication, we're going to chalk it up to that.
Yeah, perfect.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll say miscommunication. But at the same, I didn't know there was other stories. But, so if there's likewise stories, then there you go. And you know what? People are so fucking hard on Cam Haynes, right? I used to be such a fucking hater of this guy.
Oh yeah.
I started thinking about it a lot the older I got.
Like are you talking? You were thinking about the leg massage videos, or just in general? Is that
like the 50-some-year-old man that wakes up and runs a marathon, then works out, and then does the shit again that night, and then shoots his bow terrifically, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing,
shit form, but go on.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, and I know this for a fact from people that I know personally, is a complete class act.
Yeah.
When it comes to him tipping and taking care of every motherfucker in camp.
I've actually heard that too about him a few times, that in real life, apparently he's the nicest dude, right?
Yeah. And they like tips everyone, is so thankful and no pressure.
Yeah.
And I think I could be wrong, but I think if you want to look at a reason why, is that guy still works like a 9 to 5. And I think he's never forgotten where he came from, and that he knows what it's like for a guy that wakes up every morning and goes to work and provides like that kind of thing.
I think the other thing too, like if a guy like Cam Hanes, you know, he kind of came up through the hunting industry, and all of a sudden he went from being like a hunting industry guy with, you know, hypothetically 40,000 followers or something, right, to, you know, hitting that global influencer stage, if you will, and ending up with 1 million followers, and people are just going to constantly mess with you, right? And yeah, I don't know, man. Like
he deals with it very well too.
I was gonna say, I was kind of gonna say, like, I mean, a guy like that's a normal dude with 1 million followers, and like, I guarantee there's not an hour that goes by that somebody doesn't say some mean shit to him.
Exactly.
But I mean, that has to get to you if you're not like a professional influencer, you know.
Yeah. No, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't think I could deal with it.
No.
But it took me, like I said, I was the guy giving him as much shit as everybody else.
Oh yeah.
And it took me sitting back and being like, wait a second. Like, yeah, this motherfucker doesn't quit.
You know, quite honestly, I've taken the piss out of him a few times. And then the most recent time I was giving him shit about some Oregon stuff that had been going on for months and months and months, and he hadn't posted anything about it. So I put it in my story, and anyways, he saw it and messaged me, and then he fucking posted it on his story. And I was like, I have a lot of respect for a guy that can do that. Yeah,
absolutely, man. And he's been so supportive of Luke and I. And to the fact, dude, I'm not going to say who. This is fucking awesome, actually. You want to talk about a good dude.
Yeah, okay.
So this girl who is well known in this fucking, whatever you want to call it, this industry. I mean, smoking hot. And you all know who she is. Everyone does. She hits me up and says, how come every time she's like, I'm at dinner with Cam, and how come every time we get in a conversation about my love life, your name comes up? Dude doesn't even know me. And Cam's doing work. He was like trying to hook me up. I was like, holy shit. I was like, dude, you're the real fucking hero.
I'm trying to figure out who this is right now.
No, well, you don't want to talk about it. I'm sure if you talk to anyone at Sheep Show, they'll fucking tell you.
Three guesses, and I bet my life savings I could get it.
I'm sure you could.
Turns out Justin doesn't have a life savings.
Hey,
I just get it. I just talk shit.
When I start booking overseas ibex hunts, that might be true. Actually.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, when you're like, oh yeah, I was in whatever Stan and Bazia, and I was like, what? Who is this guy? Aren't you like, freaking?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's come from two different things. Also, I think a huge influence on each other, on both one hand to the other. Mm-hmm. Kip Falk was a founder of Under Armour.
Yep.
Genuine.
While we're talking about that, what the fuck, Under Armour? You dropped the guy after 17 years because he talks about that he beat COVID with some Joe Rogan pills. Like, what's going on there?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the facts of all this, because they definitely didn't drop him. Mm-hmm. And they shouldn't. He's the first sponsored Under Armour athlete, right?
Yeah.
But Kip sold. They sold. Yeah. And they're doing something else, and that's who he came up with. And maybe if it did have something to COVID, at least Cam took his stand on it the same way we would.
Mm-hmm. I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah. I don't think they dropped him necessarily or at all. I just think it's one of those things where he was like, hey, if you're going to ask me to do one thing or another, I think Cam does whatever the fuck Cam wants. Mm-hmm. But no, him, like I was saying, hand in hand, Kip. I mean, you can follow Kip and see who Kip is and what a badass individual that is.
Yeah. Yeah, and, he was on Kafari Cast. He seems like a cool cat.
Yeah, dude, just a badass, just a hard worker. I mean, this guy's dragging a fucking tire around almost every day on a chain attached to his fucking waist.
I can assure you I'm not doing that.
No, and I don't know anyone that would, and he just wants to do that. He wants to wake up at 3 a.m. and work out and then work his dick off all day and then work out again that night.
Yeah.
A college lacrosse player. Just another fucking crazy man, dude, that is just driven off of that type of work.
Just calls my inner bitch out every day, every time I see that shit.
Yeah, the way he talks, he's like, look at me, fuck this, fuck that tire. I'm fucking gonna still walk up this hill. That's how he talks. Unbelievable. I was like, fuck.
That's rad. So you got another big week ahead of you, at SCI next week, right?
This week in Vegas. Yeah, I'm trying to really make a decision if I'm going to go this weekend or not.
You're going to have a residency there soon, hey?
Yeah.
What are you missing SHOT Show for, bro?
Yeah.
Come see Nestor at the Win. He's a fixture. Don't lose Eco there, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Reno was rough on me, and I'm trying to make a decision. If it is going to snow, I'll probably stay here this weekend
and mail me an Eco hat.
Yeah. I gotta order. You wouldn't believe the amount of fucking people. I should have sold them.
You should have.
It's unbelievable. No, I got the order actually coming. It said it shipped, so
I would have happily paid for one.
Oh no, I'll get you guys some hats for sure.
Okay, so Nestor, where do folks find you? Like, if they've made it this far?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Hey, should I record this or?
No, dude, I don't. We had a website, and it was just we really don't struggle for clients, and it turned into this tire kicking, or even people that wanted to call just to bullshit.
Yeah.
So everything I do is based off of word of mouth, off of personal references. But I do have Instagram. It's Hunt Nest. A lot of people know that. And that's kind of where I post everything, where you can see what's going on.
That's awesome. Perfect. And if somebody wants to book, they can maybe just send you a text if you maybe possibly have room.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit me up. And you know, we do have room every year. It seems like just not a lot of availability.
Yeah. Are you booked up for 2022 already?
Yeah. For the most part. There's, waiting on some guys to get back to me, but I would say for the most part, we'll see.
Are you going to do some early season elk again?
Yeah. We always will do elk, especially during the rut in September.
And that was with Clay Hill?
You mean the Velvet Bulls?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're probably going to go shoot some bulls in July. Yeah. It's a blast.
That's a weird concept for us up here.
Yeah, it feels like poaching anywhere. They really don't want those elk down there, which is bizarre. But it's fun to go down there and shoot them, man. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Those bulls, when we shoot them, are with cows.
Yeah, there's the unit's right south of us in Washington. Justin, have you ever looked at the elk rigs?
No, but I've driven through there.
Yeah, it's any elk, any time of hunting season, any weapon, just let her rip.
Like an over-the-counter tag.
Yep. They're like just Texas, yeah. They're trying to keep them off the ag land there, and you can tell when hunting season kicks off because my southern BC cameras start getting lit up with elk for a couple days.
Everybody, all the elk running up here.
Exactly.
That's the same thing they're trying to do down in Clay's deal is just keep the elk. They're all summering down there in the ag fields instead of staying up in the high country. And I think they definitely got a handle on it more so. because there's not even as many as there was 3 or 4 years ago. But they said back in the day that you could just pull up and there'd be 100 head of bulls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, well, before we log off here, there was one question that I wanted to ask you, because you get to look at more mule deer than anybody that I know in a season. Give me your 2 to 3 minute quick rundown on how you age a mule deer when you're looking at it through your binos or through a spotter.
I mean, first thing I do, man, is look at its back, its stomach, its brisket for age, its body, compared to something else it's with, its face. I really look at its nose, the definition of its nose. As you can see in the trophy pics, when you can really see that roll over the nose, they call it the Roman nose. Mm-hmm. But even on the sides, you can see where it kind of has that definition going down the bridge on both sides. That's the first thing I look at.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're going to look at the antler. One thing I tell my guys is it's just like anything. It's like bears. If you don't have a barrel to judge bears, there's a lot of good deer, but you'll know when you see an exceptional deer.
Right.
And I look at bases. Is one of the first thing I look at below the brow, and then that M3, that third mass measurement where it comes up off the G2.
Yeah.
I really look to see how far that 3 comes down, how close it is to the main beam. And if it connects down there lower, you can see that mass measurement's thick. That's huge. Most of the score on a mule deer is in the front end. So you're looking for tine length. It can have shorter backs or something if you have inlines or extras. But yeah, first thing I'm looking at is age. Second thing I'm looking at is the bases. Third thing I'm looking at is that third mass measurement right there at the G2. And then I'm looking at time length.
And front tine more than back tine.
Yeah, I really, the G4s, they start getting into that 10, 12, 14 inch range. We're talking about a big deer. Obviously, there's times where I pull up and I don't have to question anything about the antler. It's big enough where I'm just looking at swaying his back. Some of the best guys judging deer that I've had in Eastern Colorado that call me my landowners is because of the way I've described it over the years. And they can look at a bachelor group of bucks and say, hey, Alex, you need to come look at this buck. There's an old buck. And it's cattle ranchers, man. They know. Any animal. Yeah. Just any animal. But I'll tell you, most of these guys that are shooting 180 inch deer are really shooting 165 inch deer. And that's just the fact of the matter. I think the average trophy hunter.
You mean they just don't have a clue what they're looking at?
I don't think they do. I think some of them, I think it's a little both. They don't, and they want to make it something it's not. And I think most guys are shooting 4-year-old deer. It's just a fact of it. Like we talked about earlier, these new cameras, these new cell phones. This wasn't an issue for me 2 years ago. And now it's an issue for everybody, especially outfitters or trophy guys.
0.5.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, how much bigger do you want me to make a 210 or 215 inch deer look?
Yeah.
Sorry, it looks big. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, take inches away from this thing? And it's like, why wasn't this an issue with our pictures 2 years ago, 3 years ago? You shoot 200, 220, sometimes 230, 240 deer. How much bigger do you, what do you want me to do?
Sorry, I made a giant deer look giant.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that's just going to always be an issue. And I get where people are coming from, man. There's guys making 160, 165 inch deer look 180, 185 inches.
I just got to add a video in with your
I started doing that.
Not just the turn. You gotta video the entire scoring process and add that in too. No, I even
started doing the turn, man. People, it's like, man, I'll just do this. Like, look at the video of this giant deer.
Cam Haynes wouldn't do the turn. He'd do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
People are always going to be jealous of people that are successful. It's just the way the world
just a
goes.
part of it. It's sad. Hunters seem to be sometimes some of the worst.
I think, the best thing we can do is celebrate each other's success. And if somebody else is doing it better than you and they're doing it in an ethical way and that's not hurting hunting, then you really gotta celebrate that and be happy for them instead of kind of just being a dick and being jealous.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, man. But no, that's how I judge deer. And age is obviously the most important thing, and that's how I was raised on looking at big bucks, especially when I started guiding. You shoot a 3 or 4 year old and you didn't even want to go back to camp. The guys I grew up guiding with were legitimate killers, and they'd rather you come back with a 160-inch deer that was 7-8 years old.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate in that aspect.
Yeah. No, there's a big misconception here, and people think that just because it's got 4 points on each side of its head, it's like, oh, it must be an old mature deer. And I'm like, look at the bases, dude. Like, that thing has absolutely no mass to it. And I don't know where you're thinking that it's an old deer from, because it looks like a 2-year-old with some, decent antlers on it.
Yeah, no. And that's another thing, man, for me. And even some young deer have that genetic, but mass overrules everything. That's what gets me going. I just love a deer that has crazy amount of mass no matter what it scores.
Yeah. Yeah. Those Coke can bases they're nothing to argue with.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, I think we're about ready to sign her off.
Let's call it. Thanks so much for coming on and bullshitting, Alex. That's cool. And we always look forward to seeing what's going on down there and what giant deer you're killing and whatnot.
I appreciate it, man. No, it was good to have me. Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at Wilderness Locals. If you want to support the podcast, please check out the gear, articles, and whatever else we're up to on the website at www.wildernesslocals.net.